Hello artists, Mrs. Castle here, and I want to show you some shading techniques and a little bit of color theory to help you shade things a little bit better. This will work just the same with soft pastels as it does with oil pastels, just exactly the same. So to start with, our color wheel. Okay, our three primary colors are red and yellow and blue. Then, let's smooth these out a little bit. So if we take red and put yellow with that and blend it, we start to get some orange, or we get orange. But be careful about blending too much because you rub it right off. Okay, that's an orangey-ish color. That's Vico. That's okay. And if we put yellow and blue together, we get a greener color. And then if we put red and blue together, we're going to get a purpley color. Purple gets really dark. Because red and blue are kind of dark colors, so that one can be a little bit tricky. Anyway, you get the idea. And this is newsprint paper. It's a rather crappy paper, so the colors aren't going to be the best on this paper. Okay, so the idea is that you can especially make any color darker by adding analogous colors, or by mixing in analogous colors. So I could make yellow darker by adding orange. I can make orange darker by adding red. I can make red darker by adding violet. I can also make yellow darker by adding green. I can make green darker by adding blue, and I can make blue darker by adding purple. I can sort of make purple darker by adding red or blue to it. So before we start doing any actual shading, we'll show you some of those things. And don't forget, you can take a towel and wipe off your colors. I'm very low on orange, so let's clean off some yellow. So if I take some yellow, I can make it a little bit, I can make it darker by adding orange. And it's not really a one and done deal even when you mix soft pastels. It helps to layer the colors up like I was doing with those. So I've got some yellow orange here, and I can make that darker by adding some red. These are little pieces, so it's easier to use them on the side, but this is a bigger piece, so I'm going to use. So those are all getting darker. And notice I'm not blowing the dust off when you're working on your pastel project. I can go for my red orange. I can add some blue to make it darker. Okay. So I'm getting darker by adding the next color on the color wheel. And that's the analogous way. And it does work a little bit to a lesser degree the same way to lighten up colors. Just got to be careful. Okay, so let's try another example. Take some green, and so if I can make it darker by adding blue. Remember, it's not one and done. I need to blend the colors together by layering them up. And keep the green going through there because we started with a green color. I didn't keep the yellow going enough in there, but very definitely our green gets darker. Same principle. I can, oops, I'm gonna go for red. I'm making my blue darker by adding purple, and I can even get a little bit darker by adding red there at the end. Shoot. Okay, so please don't blow the dust off of your work with the soft pastels. I'm gonna pick up my paper and shake it on the floor. Yeah, it gets floor dusty, but if somebody's sitting across from you, we don't wanna blow dust in somebody's face. That's rude, and I want you to try that. Let's have another go at that one. I've got orange on there, so I'm gonna clean that off just by wiping it on my towel. I'm gonna use this bigger piece, and it's really dirty. Okay. Use my orange. Definitely darker. I'm gonna add, I don't want that blue in there, so I'm gonna wipe it off. So I get a deeper orangey color. As I go along. And I can keep going around to purple like I did before. And I'm going to be careful because purple and yellow are complements, and they tend to make mud or a brownish. Let's do this one. That has anyway, that's the idea. I'm gonna blend it a little bit with a piece of paper towel to soften that up a little bit. So I don't, you gotta be careful because even with the chalk pastels, you know, it pushes the dust off, or the color off. Okay, definitely get darker. Okay, so another thing that can be done with pastel, or to create shading with pastel, is, like I said, adding the complement. The complement of red is green, the complement of blue is orange, and the complement of yellow is purple. We want to go pretty much directly across the color wheel and kind of stick with the color family. So where my purple and my yellow combine, I get, when they combine evenly, I get kind of a gray color. If I just mix a little bit together, you can get some really pretty deep purples. When you get to the middle where they're even is where you get the yucky gray color, kinda. So with orange, our complement is blue. Like I said, with sticking with the same family, I could use that blue, and I could use this turquoisey blue, just the same. And they'll give a slightly different effect, but the idea, both will give a darker shade of the color. We'll gray it out to make it look shadowy. And oops, if we just mix a little bit of the orange with the blue, or in the blue with the orange, you get some really nice colors that aren't completely ugly. And here's another blue-green color. It's not green-green. Where'd my green-green go? It's the same. Maybe that is a green. No, they're different. Like this is the one I used here, and I would consider that a green-green. And this is more, it's lighter, definitely lighter. But both of these could be used to mix with red to get a nice complement. Or I could use these to mix with the magenta color to get a nice complement, or even pink. Or I could put this pink and this green together, since they're both kind of light. So, but you use these instead of black for a couple of different reasons. Using black in the shadows, or to create shadows, tends to flatten things out, not make it look as round as using color to make the shadows. And the other thing is that black is super powerful, and it tends to take over everything. So we only use black in extreme situations. So, okay, I want you to practice these combinations, and we'll talk again in a few minutes. I'll show you some practical applications. Thanks for watching. Bye.